Howdy folks, I wasn't going to make this video, but one person on my Discord said I should, and apparently that was all the motivation I needed to shit on Postscriptum. I'm joking, just calm down. If that turned you off right away, well, there's going to be more. Before we get started properly, if you do feel butthurt by my opinions on either game and feel angry, pedantry, or a deep desire to explain why I am wrong, then stick around till the end, so you have the full story, and definitely not a hilarious joke. Also, leave a like and subscribe and all that other good poop. Or, dislike it if you didn't enjoy it. Wait, maybe I shouldn't have done that on this video. We'll leave it in. So, it was the year that was before this one, and I did not own Hell Let Loose or Postscriptum. I was knee-deep playing Battlefield, Apex Legends, PUBG, Warzone, and any other game that I could get my hands on, trying to scratch an itch. However, both Hell Let Loose and Postscriptum, as it was known at the time, were on my radar, largely due to Jack Frags, who was working his charm, working it hard, trying to get me to try both these games. Now, eventually Postscriptum had a free weekend, so I downloaded it and dove in nuts first, ready to have an authentic World War II experience. And that's exactly what happened. I spent 4 hours running in the wrong direction, watching allies get hit by tank shells and bullets coming from guns held by phantoms hitting me square in the chest, killing me instantly. It was brutal. And it did slightly scratch an itch that had been building for years, the World War II itch. However, something was missing, and I couldn't quite place it. The itch wasn't fully scratched. And when the free weekend ended, I did not pull the trigger. I knew I had to see the other side of this coin. As with all concept movies and Sith, always two there are. No more, no less. A master and an apprentice. I had to find out which was the master. So sure enough, a free weekend for Hell Let Loose popped up almost serendipitously. That was a harder word to say than it was to write. And as with Post, I downloaded and jumped in, testicles a-flapping. However, by the time I got round to getting stuck in, I only had about 2 to 3 hours left and was desperate to get into a proper fight. I was once again greeted by brutality and carnage. Clueless and afraid, wandering the war-torn countryside of France, I came away from the game shell-shocked and a massive grin on my face. With a shaky finger, I bought it about 35 seconds after finishing. The scratcher had been scritched, but simultaneously, the addiction had begun. So ever since that fateful day, years have passed and I was getting stuck into Hell Let Loose every single chance I could get. I started making videos on it, I made friends from it, and I've had some of the best game experiences of my life on this game. Things that are hard to explain to people who don't play it, and make you look slightly insane when you start laughing as you describe a grenade you threw dismembering 6 US soldiers who were hiding in a house. Good times, man. Good times. Now, on the other side, during this time, the player count on Postscriptum was dwindling and had almost completely vanished. Then the devs left the game, and it seemed like it was all over. It was honestly sad to see a game with such passionate players and so much potential just slowly lose their player base, and then a brutal announcement that it was essentially just being abandoned, despite all that work that had been put into it. Then some more time passed, and out of the blue, the dev team for the popular squad, of which Postscriptum is a mod, bought Postscriptum, rebranded it to Squad 44, with the later promise to bring the game up to date with more maps and refinements and features and all that good juicy stuff. Then the videos started. Videos of people flooding back with titles of like, this incredible game just got resurrected, etc. In very little time, my stream chats were filled with requests to play the rightful heir to the best World War II shooter title. And with the rebrand and the promise of improvements to the game, potentially even graphical updates, I was genuinely excited to jump back in and have my eardrums blown out all over again with this new old World War II shoot. However, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a bit hesitant as well. As, let's be honest, the game did die. Like, hard, really hard. There had to be a reason, right? Why players just slowly trickled away to the point where there was hardly anyone in a server. Most had gone on to either play Hell Let Loose and then moan about it, or even join Squad, or just any other game really. Then, lo and behold, post Squad 44 Scriptum was on sale. And me and my boy Rex, yep, that one, jumped on. Unfortunately, it was at separate times. Rex lasted a grand total of about 30 minutes and refunded and uninstalled it quicker than I can eat a chicken wing. I will not repeat the words he said, rather I'll leave you his review on screen now, which promptly got removed by Steam because it was against community guidelines. And I did note that a bunch of other reviews also got removed that were less than gleaming. I will touch on this further into the video. However, I was undeterred by his bad experience, as to me games are like art and are subjective to the viewer and the gamer. So I will not recount the whole experience, as I did make a video on it, and that's probably what you're watching right now because I've never played it again since. But if you want to watch it properly with my hilarious commentary, go and check it out afterwards. It'll be down in the description. I was honest, candid, and I did go on to say how good the majority of the sound design was in almost every aspect. However, I'm fairly confident that the 44 in Squad 44 was to show the number of players online at any one time. Alright, I'm sorry. That was a joke. I may have laughed at it for too long and that's why I kept it in. I apologise to everyone. Just calm down. It wasn't even that good. Come on. So naturally, I got some salty comments from some die-hard fans who hated that I'd only given it 2 hours. And then went on to attack me and Hell Let Loose in an attempt to prove how manly and grown up they are. I'm not even joking. Go read them. I like to read them every single night. The salty toxicity is an incredible aphrodisiac. Now the problems that I have with post-scrotum are just that. They're mine. My opinion and my thoughts that I decided to share with my community. Now if you don't agree, that's fine. Let's discuss that. Happy to discuss anything. But the butthurt comments that were flying out are ridiculous because I didn't like the game that they liked. There is a big difference between discussion and then just being angry and, attacking people. That's not this. However, there was one valid criticism that 2 hours is definitely not long enough to get a feel for the game. And that is definitely true, to an extent. But I will remind you of what I said at the start of the video, that I had around the same amount of time to experience Hell Let Loose. Probably actually less when you tally it all up together. I believe in total I had about 6 hours of postscriptum from the free trial a couple of years ago, and then playing it again when it got rebranded. And Hell Let Loose I had about 2 to 2.5 hours in total. And Hell Let Loose was the one that grabbed me. The one that pulled me in. And there's definitely some reasons for that. But Squad 44 is definitely the more milsim game. It's more punishing than Hell Let Loose in a lot of ways. The guns are harder to use. And it will take much, much longer to get better and understand that game properly, maybe. And yeah, you could argue that it is a better milsim shooter than apparently the arcadey Nerf gun game that we have in Hell Let Loose. Which, that's not me writing. That is a comment from someone on that postscriptum video. Every single reason that someone gave me while postscriptum Squad 44, whatever it's called now, is better, is not a reason why it's better. It's the reason that they liked it. Or didn't like it. Whatever. And at the end of the day, your personal opinion on either game, or mine for that matter, do not actually matter. The only true metric that you can count on to see which game has performed better are the sales and the player numbers. And the numbers speak volumes. As of writing this script while on a train I didn't mean to get on, going 30 miles in the wrong direction, Squad 44 had 68 players online. So close to. Hell Let Loose, on the other hand, had 2,900 players, and those stats were taken simultaneously at 10 AM, my time, not peak gaming for pretty much for anyone anywhere on the planet. The night before, peak time during the middle of the week, 8,000 players, which is a lot higher than it was a couple of months ago for Hell Let Loose. The numbers are showing what game is doing better, but more than that, it's showing what people clearly want. And once again, I'm not saying Hell Let Loose is better than Postscriptum, but clearly one of them has made a game that's more fun to play and more accessible, and is kind of better. Hell Let Loose is more casual in a lot of respects compared to Postscriptum, but compared to Battlefield, it looks like a milsim, which I'm sure is what a lot of the audience are coming from. It has a lot of aspects that make it more than just a run and gun cap point, capture, game, shoot, bang, take, place, run more, kill. Who writes this shit, man? And everything I just said, despite it making no sense, is what people clearly want. Gameplay that's challenging, tough, but also rewarding. Teamwork. Large resource meta that requires coordination, plus cinematic visuals that surpass Postscriptum on so many levels. Sure, the audio is not in the same league at all. At least in terms of the majority of the guns and some of the explosions. And obviously the tank destruction system is nuanced and more detailed, but clearly isn't that important to the majority of people, myself included. But the last thing that either of these games need is this childish attitude from the fan base that COD and Battlefield players have with each other, where one is going to dominate the other each year and stuff like that. No, we don't need that. We need people to shut up and just play your games. And say if you like it, say if you don't like it, but keep the childish, my game's better than your game because I like my game and I don't like your game. You know, just shut up, man. Get out of it. For me, Postscriptum Squad 44 just didn't do what I wanted from a World War II shooter. Hell Let Loose delivered it in spades. Now, another thing that I briefly mentioned in my original video is the map design for Hell Let Loose is vastly superior in every way. Even the worst maps, at least, are still atmospheric and convincing, and you feel like you are there, even if you don't want to be in the desert getting shot at by an MG42 3 miles away. They still look great. Postscriptum maps, to me, always looked unfinished, and you feel like you're in a video game. An old video game, for that matter. Lifeless, empty is probably the best way to describe them. Now, they might have more of them, and more factions to play in them, but man, nah, I'm good. It does not make up for how bad the maps actually look or feel to play in. Now, there are some standout areas in some of the maps that look quite good until you look past the surface level lighting or whatever, and you realize that everything is empty and barren. All the rooms in buildings are just empty. There's one with a bridge, I can't remember the name of it, but the bridge is just empty. There's nothing on it, there's no debris. Most of the maps don't look like you're even in a war zone, you're just walking through a map. Hell Let Loose maps are primarily made with an eye to authenticity to the real world locations. They feel like you're actually in a real battlefield, with ambient noise, war-torn landscape, epic visuals, and the fact that the majority of them are replications of the actual, like, almost one-to-one scale of the area you're fighting in. Carentan, massive example, where I've seen people have gone to Carentan and they know their way around, like, because of playing Hell Let Loose. They're like, oh, if I go down here, I'll end up at this calf, and it works. And the pictures, people are doing the comparison pictures, and it's faultless. Some of the more recent maps are obviously taking some liberties, because El Alamein is a big friggin' desert. I mean, you could probably hold up a picture of Hell Let Loose El Alamein and you could probably match it to somewhere. It's a desert, you know? If I could take anything from Squad 44 and inject it directly into Hell Let Loose, it would be the gun audio. And some of the explosion audio and effects. Not all of it. So when testing on the firing range in the video at the beginning, I cut a lot of it out because I think it was going to get boring quite quickly. But I tried almost every gun I could remember that was in Hell Let Loose in there, and the majority of them beat Hell Let Loose. However, there was some that to me didn't sound as good, and I'm weird, so I've watched all the videos of people firing World War II guns that are in Hell Let Loose for real, because I want to know how close they are to the thing. And I know most of them in Hell Let Loose are decent replications, but they're not as authentic sounding. Now they're getting better. They are making tweaks to make the guns sound a little bit more realistic, but they won't beat Postscriptum in that department unless they really step up their game. However, something I did notice in Postscriptum, which I thought was really bad, was on some of the automatic weapons, if you want to tap fire, you will fire the one shot, but it will play the audio for a burst of bullets. So it sounds like 2 to 3 bullets are firing. And it's weird, like how much attention to detail they've paid to the sound effect, but then you can't just fire, like they couldn't record the guy just tap firing one. Like, it just seems very strange to me. The explosions sound incredible, where you can hear the sparks and various things like that. The sound of the shells passing is very good, although I'd admit Hell Let Loose has very good audio with bullet and tank shells passing by is very effective as well. One thing that Hell Let Loose beats it hands down every single time is the tank audio of the engines. The tanks in Postscriptum sound like little remote control cars, which is strange, again, considering the attention to detail they've put into every other part of the tanking, and then it sounds terrible. Whereas Hell Let Loose, arguably, it's a lot more casual tanking experience compared, but the tanks sound like friggin' tanks, man. Like, they are loud, big, burly engines. When you hear a Tiger tank rolling behind you and your head's rattling in your skull, it's incredible. Like, very immersive. Now, something that is a top priority to get rid of from Squad 44 is the goddamn canteen, and fix the stamina or something. I don't even know if it's any different, but now, if you want to add some mystery to my controversial opinions, I don't mind the stamina system in Squad. God, I wish there was a water canteen or something. Like, it can get a bit annoying, but it feels more refined. Like, I feel, even if I run out of stamina, if I need to, I've still got enough energy to do a little burst run to get to cover. Whereas Squad 44 is a different story. Nothing ruins my immersion more than having to stop and rest to take a little drink of water while I'm being shot at by an MG42 in a field. No, I'm drinking my water! No, don't drink your water! Fucking stupid! If that was me, even without training, without any kind of cardio training, like me in my current state right now, which is not fit in any way, I would still keep running. If I could hear that clickety-clack, the buzzsaw churning up the dirt around me, you better believe I am running like a beast. The whole point is, I don't want to play as me, an overweight, unfit man who can't run longer than 10 seconds without needing a friggin' nap. I want to feel cool. I don't want to be reminded of my stupid life choices. Like, when you get shot at, I imagine adrenaline surges through your body and powers you like a beast. When you get to cover, sure, take a nap, do whatever. It doesn't make any sense to me. It just seems like a feature they've added to slow the game down even more. And I don't get it. Like, combat situations are, in some cases, going to be very fast. Like, they're not all going to be fast-paced running, but it just really, it's frustrating without any kind of reward for it. And I just don't see the point. I honestly do hope that Squad 44 does well with the new promised updates and improvements and more content, and all the players flock back to it. But if I'm honest, the player numbers peaked for a little bit once the name change came in, and then promptly plummeted again shortly after. As most people probably realised, oh, it's the same game that died. And you're probably thinking, as an old vet, you'll come back, more players, awesome. But then anyone else that maybe isn't experienced with it or is completely new is going to be like, oh, this game is too tough and I don't like it. Because no one talks about how much tougher that game is. So people are thinking it's just another Hell Let Loose with better audio design. And then they get there and like, oh my god, this game's horrific and isn't actually that fun. And then they leave again because they've not changed anything. I don't get the thinking behind changing the name before actually changing anything about the game to improve it. Because you are instantly ruining the new brand name by going, here's the new Squad 44. Oh, it's the same. Well, that sucked. That's not why I got this game. Boom, I've left, because you kind of feel cheated, you know? Now, if they'd got loads of work ready and done like new updates, refinements, stuff like that, and then gone, right, we have acquired it, you knew we'd acquired it, but now this is the rebrand. Bang, Squad 44, new maps, new factions, refinements to gameplay, refinements to the game meta, all this good juicy stuff that they've been promising, but it all happens at the moment you drop that name. That, to me, would be a much smarter decision, because then you've got people actually jumping on that are vets, and they probably won't like it, because they're the same as Hell Let Loose vets, to be honest. But, you know, there's going to be some people that will enjoy it. Then you get new players coming in going, oh, this is wicked, like this is amazing what they've done to this game, or they won't even know that it used to be called Postscriptum, and they'll just play it and they'll enjoy it and they'll love it, and then you've got a whole new player base getting stuck into your game. But the way they've done it just seems like they shot themselves in the foot, to be honest. And I know they've changed a bunch of things recently, but none of it for the better, because it wound everyone up. Something to do with the game meta. I don't really understand the game meta, if I'm honest. It doesn't make any sense to me. Either that, or it's not as confusing as people are making out, and I do get it, but they're trying to make it out like it's more complex, and then that's confused me. I don't really know. Can someone explain to me down in the comments how do I play Postscriptum? I'm not gonna, but just tell me anyway. But all the changes just forced the game down into mixed reviews. Mixed. That's like just over 50% say positive. But then, so this is what I was talking about with Rex's review. They removed his review because they said it was against Steam guidelines. Now, admittedly, his review was slightly trolly, but it wasn't too bad, you know? But a lot of other people have been moaning and complaining about the changes in the game, and a lot of them have been removed, and now the game is back to mostly positive, at least at the time of writing the script. So, a little bit weird, just saying. Like, most people probably won't pay attention to that, but my private eye investigator, Rex, he's on these things. Gotta keep this guy on side, man. He's like my little detective. So, the long and short of it is, Postscriptum sucks, Hell Let Loose rules, get dabbed on, scrubs! Sorry, okay, that was the joke I was talking about at the beginning. As you can tell, it was hilarious and definitely worth the 3-hour wait to get here. I assume that's how long this video is going to be. I've not looked at my recording, but no, I'm joking, kind of. If you did enjoy the video, leave a like, if not a dislike, and let me know down in the comments your thoughts on Squad 44 rebrand. Do you prefer it to Hell Let Loose? Why do you prefer it to Hell Let Loose? Did you hate every single word that I said during this video and it's filled you with rage? Let me know, but be nice about it, because I definitely deserved it from everything I just said. I think I was fairly fair. Like, you know, I made some jokes, I didn't mean them. Really? Kind of? I don't know. I'm not even gonna rewatch or re-listen to any of this. Just gonna post it and see what people think. It'll be great, I'm sure. If you're still listening as well, man, do I appreciate you. You are the greatest. And I probably should have done this at the beginning of the videos, but I'd like to thank all my members. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Nutcase, Elmo. Thank you to all my members. Thank you for everyone that watches my videos and leaves likes and comments and stuff. You're all helping me build an empire and a cult-like community. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. But yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the video, what you think about Squad 44, what you think about Hell Let Loose. Do you think Squad 44 is going to come back with a vengeance? But if not, just subscribe, join the Discord for memes and friends. I'll see you all in the next one.